thank everybody for your friendship, first of all, and I think this whole NHSSCA has been that's really what it's been about, is a brotherhood and a friendship and stuff like that, and a way to connect in ways outside of the once a year that we got to see each other. So I'm pumped for you guys' willingness to be part of this. So really super excited. The growth has been phenomenal. We've grown. So our plans, just to give you guys, and I think I've told some of you this, but just to give you kind of an overview, our look at a 1 year out, we looked at hoping to have 500 members, paid members. We looked at having 3 level 1 sponsors. And we thought at the end of the first year, if we could do that, we could function the way we wanted to for at least 2 years. So as it stands right now, we have over 550 members already within a month and a half. And that's with 0 marketing. It's all organic. We really haven't gone to phase 2, which is actually our marketing component of it. We have closing in on, we're over 1,450 members on the Facebook page. Put that in perspective, and that's been up for about 2.5 months. To put that in perspective, the NSCA page has 650 members. So, and that's been up close to 3 years. When you look at the exchange on our Facebook page, I'm blown away by the positive interactions that are going on and the connections that are being made and what's being shared. That alone, the education content on our Facebook page alone is just blows your doors of what's going on. We have 15 currently, and we're still in talks with 5 other level 1 sponsors. 15. Wow. We are fully funded for 2 to 4 years for all the events that we're looking to hold, all the connections. One of the great things about our association is we don't have a headquarters. None of us are making money. There's not one employee making money from it. 100% of everything we're bringing in is going back to the profession. You all know that, but I just wanted to be very transparent with that. So everything that comes in is going back out. National conference is going to be huge. I think for our region and for the specifics of where you're at, the next 2.5 weeks are going to be vital for the connections. What we're finding is about 60 to 70%, somewhere in that range, of high school strength and conditioning coaches do not have Facebook components, or really social media components, based upon their school systems asking them not to have them. So it's going to be really vital, this directory or this reach out. It's going to be super vital. I reached out to, Toby, what was it, a little over 100?
Yeah, it was about 120, I think, is what it ended up being.
Okay, so out of the 100, let's just say it was 130. So out of the 130 emails that I sent out over, what was it, a 2-day period?
Mm-hmm.
Out of a 2-day period, I had 31 people sign up for the national. That's an incredible rate. And I have another 800 emails I can send out. And so football coaches, athletic directors, obviously strength coaches if you have their contacts. But if you don't, connecting with the athletic directors and the football coaches are vital. And I think the more people that know about what we're offering and the value that we have offering there is going to be huge to further that impact. So we have over 125 people flying in from out of state. And when I say out of state, I mean out of region to this event. So people from, we have 3 people coming from out of country to our national conference. So one from Canada, one from Ireland, and one from England, which just blows my mind. And then people coming from all the way from the West Coast up north. It's going to be a great experience. So we want people not to miss out. And then one of the big pushes you've probably seen on Facebook is that February 1st deadline for what we're calling the raffle. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, I did.
So the raffle is, our sponsors have been incredibly generous and supportive of our mission. And they really want to help us impact the student athletes that we are blessed to see every day. We know that because it's what we do. I've been amazed by their response. So the donations of giveaways, and I don't want to give out I don't want to give away the surprise, but they are amazing pieces of equipment. I can't, without giving it away, they are unbelievably life-changing types of equipment that they're giving away. And we're talking thousands of dollars of pieces of equipment that are going to be handed out. I'll give one piece away just to give you an idea. Someone will walk away with a power rack.
Wow.
Like, huh? And I mean, things like that. Like, people are giving that level of stuff because, again, it's not about the money, it's about the impact. So, there'll be moments that we're going to have during this that are going to be awesome, right? So you guys are all part of it. I'm excited. I'm hoping. I know Garrett, I think everyone on this call is coming, right?
Yes.
So I have everyone. Micah, you better be, and John, you better be, because you're speaking. Toby, you better be, because you're all speaking. So, yeah, putting final touches together. Reach out. I guess that would be my 2 cents. Anything you guys have questions in regards to the overall company, the direction, anything that I can help answer or something like that I haven't answered at this point?
I think it's been great.
Yeah,
man, you're the man.
Yeah, it's been great ever since you first started talking about putting together something like this. This is amazing what's coming to fruition.
Yeah, it's been Micah, you and I talked about it at your last state clinic, I think, didn't we?
The night before we talked about it for a while.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's I think it's been talked about, and I've been, because I'm old, we talked about these things for 15, 16 years, and the timing just wasn't right. The the age of this technology, like right now, we're all talking. I mean, this didn't exist. And so I think social media and the age of connection, technology gets shot down a lot about disconnecting people, but I think it connects people. And so that is a big boon. And, someone just had to jump out and just do it. I mean, that's the reality, and there's a lot of garbage that comes with doing that. So I've taken a lot of crap. So, but it's been worth every moment of it, That's the reality. Not because it's anything for me. It's for the profession and for the amazing coaches that are in it. That's the great thing about it, is that this is so bigger than one individual. So very super excited about it.
I agree. Anything else for Coach Schofield? Most of the topics that I wanted to talk about are a lot of what you've touched on, Coach. So it was just in building the database is one of the things that is important to us right now. In conjunction with that, it's promoting the conference and how we can promote the conference while we're building the database, and how we can build our database while we promote the conference and while we're at the conference. So I think, especially those that are on this call right now, you guys have been such a blessing and have done such a great job in reaching out to athletic directors and coaches and anybody that's watching these states. Number one, hopefully you know who your state director is. And if you don't, it's a good time to figure it out. But number two, if you have coaches that are local, that in a conference, in a district, that are down the street, don't just assume that we know who they are, just because maybe it's a name that's been around and is spoken, or maybe it's a name that is on social media and is on the Facebook page. That doesn't necessarily know that maybe Coach Jacoby knows he's one county over in Georgia, or she. So let's make sure that we also help our state directors out in promoting this great organization and building that database. So if we have somebody that make sure they reach out to the state director, or let's be that link there that can create some of those connections. With the conference, I want to ask you guys, is there something that we would like to do that obviously doesn't from the main acts, for lack of a better term, of the conference? Is there something we can do, maybe a breakout session, or maybe a round table, maybe something similar to this, but we can be face-to-face and we can get some other coaches Or even like, I love that Coach Gio's tuning in right now, because I think this is important. I think it's hearing what other regions are doing and hearing how we can benefit from that is going to be really important for us. So is there anything you think we can do at the conference that would help promote our region and would help us? I think the more faces we see, the more people we can connect with, because somebody else's network is probably larger than ours.
I think maybe during our social would be a great time if, I got the guys from Georgia, Garrett got the guys from Alabama, Sean, North Carolina, Micah was South Carolina, at least, that time, maybe in that setting, that we were able to put a name with a face. Because I've talked to a lot of people who say they're coming or whatever, but, other than an email address or maybe a picture on Facebook, I really don't, I don't have that connection like I would like to. So I think maybe during that time would be a great opportunity, and really for everybody probably to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
For whoever comes in, whoever is out of, we're probably going to have the most people there because of just the location. I get that. But if there's somebody from Indiana there, or whatever, I think that would be a great time to be able to put names with faces.
So do you guys know how that is scheduled, the time-wise, and where we're going to be?
At Dave & Buster's?
For the most part.
Yeah, so day one, there'll be a couple different options here. Day one from 3:30 to 5:30, or 3 to 5:30, is the transition time between the pre-conference and the conference. And that's where we're going to provide dinner, which will be pizza. It's a pizza dinner because we're coaches. We're not fancy. We're going to make sure we remain who we are. But there's an hour and 2 hours, really 2.5 hours, that we could even have a booth with the Southeast region, John, and you guys could be at it, to where people can connect with you during that time. We could have it. That's going to be in the field house where the sponsors are. So that's one option you can have. And then we have our speakers. Toby, you'll be leading us off, and then some goofball will be closing it that night. And then after that guy gets done boring everybody, we're going to head to Dave & Buster's, which is just down the street. And we have it scheduled from 8 to 10, but the reality is we have that room, I believe, until 2 in the morning. Hopefully people won't do that. But it's a huge room, seat over 200, and it has a stage. So from about 8 to 9, really about 8:30 to 9:30, there is going to be a special component of that coaches social. We have scheduled right now 3 and potentially 4 special guests joining us. They are nationally recognized coaches and best-selling authors. That will be, oh, by the way, that's a surprise. And just joining us to have like a little round table themselves up on that stage and meeting people. And then after that, it's free for you guys. You could meet with people. That's really what it's all about. So hopefully that gives you a better timeline maybe of that night. Did that help any?
Absolutely.
So we certainly can set up a booth for you if you want in that area, and then a little sign talking about Southeast region, Region 1.
Yeah.
Maybe some.
If we can get
and we could put if any information you have, any contact sheets, if you want me to print up bios for you, whatever helps connect people. You guys brainstorm, and whatever you think that would be great, I'll make sure that's taken care of.
So is there any more steps you want me to take, Coach?
You guys can be, the great thing about this is it's us, right? It's not, right. This is what makes this different than anything we've been in. It's about you guys. You tell me what you want. I know that's weird, and it's usually, hey, this is what we're going to do, and you have to follow we're coach. You tell me what's the best way to connect coaches, what's going to make the biggest impact, and that's what we want to do. Some of you are in Nashville, and you heard me talk about it, and this is going to be an experience. It's not going to be a conference. I mean, yes, it is. And yes, it's going to have all that kind of stuff. But I want you to walk away thinking, what was that? That was awesome. So you tell me, John, what makes it the best? And that's why you guys can brainstorm. And, since I'm hosting it, it's a piece of cake for me to create whatever makes it the best. So, if it's a week from now or 2 weeks from now that you guys come up with something, that's a piece of cake, man. We'll make it work because it's about the coaches, right? So that's ultimately what we want. So,
yeah. Cool. I think there's any other way for, Micah or Garrett, or even Sean, I'm not forcing you guys to talk, but is there any way that we can serve our coaches of the region? Is there something that we could bring to the table in particular that weekend that we'll be inviting the coaches to be more involved? Or two, at that point, it's not necessarily promoting the organization. I think we'll have a lot of coaches that just will be in the presentations and be all fired up about it. But the reason I say that is we're at least I know certainly Gary, I'm sure, echoes this sentiment that we're approaching this almost this is in our region, and this ultimately becomes our regional event, although it's the national event. And I'm sure it probably is even deeper in Gary's heart because it's hosted at his place. So this on as our baby a little bit. And how we can do for our coaches.
One
thing, maybe at your state clinics that you've taken away from it that we can use.
Well, I think Toby talked about it for a minute at the social at National Coaches Conference with like the roundtable that we did at the Nationals in July. And I don't know if we could do something like that, and like we could actually put like all the Southeast region coaches at one table, all the coaches from each region at the table, and then you could have like yourself, Gary, Fred, and Kevin, and they could basically go around the tables and get to know, talk just like we did at Nationals in the summer, and just have conversations and talk and see what people are thinking about, what issues people have with things, what ideas people have with things. I mean, I know Toby has said that at David Buster's that was like his favorite part of Nationals in July. And I mean, I thought that was an awesome time too, where we just was unscripted and we just went and talked and took it from there with anybody that had any ideas or any problems, and just brainstormed ideas on how to fix those issues. And so if those coaches from the region were sitting at the same table, obviously they can start to get to know each other that way as well. And then anytime being able to hear from you guys and being able to interact with you guys is awesome too. I don't know how we could set that up, but I mean, maybe in the future or something like that.
I think that's an awesome idea. I mean, I know that's where I got to meet Garrett and Sean and really connect with you guys and just, like minds. I just thought that was unbelievable. And I've been to umpteen, I don't even know how many national or coaches conference, whatever. And just the sharing that went on just at that time frame was unbelievable. That's why I was so disappointed when I go this year, and it was what it was. So, I mean, you guys screwed the pooch there, guys, because I mean, it was the expectation to me was so high because that was an awesome idea. I mean, that was great.
Well, that's why we created this organization, because I was told that wasn't a good idea. So yeah, it was one of the things we were told we shouldn't have done. So I think we could do this, guys. I think that 3 o'clock to 5:30 time with the dinner and the pizza gives us an opportunity to maybe promote that, because there isn't anything, quote, scheduled during that time. We could create, a time period where people can connect and chat and meet, meet the region as they come and check in. And we could make that work, if that makes sense to you guys. So that may be a good time. The Dave and Buster's thing, I'll be quite honest with you, people are going to want to probably relax.
Yeah.
Right.
It's evening, and it's going to be a hard time. I mean, you're going to connect and you're going to make one-on-one meetings. It's going to be hard to do it in that group fashion at that point. But we have a 2-hour lunch on day 2. 1 hour has a special guest, so we only have an hour for lunch there. The other option you have is we get done Saturday at 4, and there may be people that want to hang out a little bit longer. I know a lot of people are spending that night, so there's another option to have kind of it's on my campus, so I'm the one locking up, so you can stay there as long as you want. So if you guys wanted to have another optional, hey, we would just love to hang out and decompress. What did we learn? What do we want to share? What was great? What was not so great? What would you like more of? What would you like less of? What made this different? That might be a good option too.
I like the first option. I like the first option you said at the 2-hour dinner. I think that's obviously with it being in the beginning of the clinic. I mean, it just gives coaches a little bit of chance to meet each other and interact and network. So.
And then that sets up later for the night at Dave & Buster's when you were talking about doing the one-on-ones. Now you've already broken the ice with a couple of guys maybe you don't know, and it opens up that opportunity. So
I'll look at maybe like how to coordinate that, because people will be coming in between that time. It's not like everyone's going to arrive at 3.
Yeah.
Great if they did, but you know how people are, and people work. So they'll be coming in during that time. That's why we're doing dinner, because I figure if I'm giving away free food, it's another way to get them there quick. So
yeah,
I know that works usually. But maybe it's a collection point. Like, hey, if you're in the Southeast region, the directors, the state directors, and regional board member are meeting here. Go over and introduce yourselves, meet with them. Because we're all going to be kind of collecting. Basically, when you come onto our campus, Toby, you've been to my campus. Have any of you been to the campus yet?
Yeah.
So, Garrett, you are like, when you walk onto the campus, what's going to happen is you're going to park in the parking lot and you're going to come into the football field in that giant, ridiculous Jumbotron above our field house is going to actually be playing the NHSSCA video and a couple surprise pieces that are in there. So that's going to kind of welcome people. I think that's pretty cool. And so as people come in, they're going to see that, going to be excited. They're going to register right on the downstairs floor. And then we could probably have a collection point somewhere. We have a round table upstairs. We have things that people can go in and meet with you, and then go through the vendors area and come back and chat. That might be a good option that we have for you, because right when you come upstairs, basically the entire upstairs to the right is going to be all vendors and great sponsor area. But off to the left, I have like a big round table oval office that we can kind of have people funnel through. So maybe potentially have you guys down there as a meet and greet type moment. If that works for you, I could probably make that work fairly well. And I think it would flow. What do you guys think of that idea?
That's a good idea. Which one is better? The fact that you have a Jumbotron at your high school? We're going to be on it.
Yeah. You're going to I've worked hard on a good video for that. So it'll, I don't know. I'm looking, again, it's all about the experience, right? We're trying to do things that establishes that this is a legit great place to be, man. It's just going to be, all those are the little things that are going to make a difference, in my opinion. So we're looking at a lot of really surprise pieces.
From the roundtable side of things, kind of what Toby said a minute ago, I think it's a great idea, because I think a lot of the coaches that we're reaching are coaches that have not attended the NSCA conferences.
Agreed.
So I think there's going to be a trust factor of whenever these coaches that have not been in that organization, stuff like that, for them to get to know us and for them to trust us, that we are in it for the good of the kids, for the main part. And then, like Toby said, just putting a name with a face is going to be huge for our connection, in the state of North Carolina, Georgia, stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely think we're going to have a wider spectrum, a more representative spectrum. I've had a lot of coaches reach out and tell me how excited they were to be able to come to a place where they didn't feel inferior because maybe they didn't have a cert after their name. Because there are coaches with no certifications after their name that can outcoach my butt any day of the week, right? So sometimes we think these abbreviations mean something. and we all love them, and they're great, and they establish what we've learned, and I'm not trying to downplay them, but you know as well as I know, you can have many letters after your name and not be able to coach a rock, right? So so I think that's right, Sean. I think we're going to have an opportunity to show the heart of a coach versus science.
Excellent. Before we close out, let's has there been any, like, what has the feedback been from some coaches that you have connected with through the directory? Is it all positive? Is there any concerns that coaches have had in joining the organization, or any concerns that they've had making it to the conference?
The feedback I've gotten so far has been pretty positive.
Something that comes up at national.
So
we back. We lose John.
Concern for travel, is there a concern? Is there a concern for how do have coaches reached out to you, maybe in frustration of how they can get more involved? I'm just looking, what has the feedback been through those connections that we've made?
The feedback on my end for the guys I've reached out to has been great. Everybody's excited. First of all, being in North Carolina, it's not a very long trip to Atlanta, but all the coaches have been extremely excited that there's something for the high school association. At least probably 7 or 8 coaches just that I know of coming from the state of North Carolina, and probably a lot more that I don't know of right now. But all the coaches I've talked to have been extremely excited. There's been no frustration. It's a expensive thing to join. The conference was fairly inexpensive, and everybody's been great.
Awesome. Anybody else? Anybody had any concerns whatsoever?
I think on my end, just mainly just people just are looking. They don't really know exactly what it is, so I got to really explain. It's like what type of organization. I think a lot of, obviously in South Carolina we have a pretty big South Carolina Strength Coaches Association, and like so the South Carolina Strength Coaches Association have put on a conference the last 2 years, and then we got a big state clinic or a state strength meet. And I think a lot of those coaches, they do great jobs, and we got a lot of strength coaches, but I think they're a little bit wary of organizations. So just trying to explain exactly what just got to make sure I explain exactly what the mission is of this association. And I think once they really understand exactly the organization, I think it really will take off in South Carolina. And anybody like Gary or anybody, if at all possible, you can make it to the area for the state speed and strength meet in March. That'd be awesome time as
what
well.
Date is that?
Promote. It's March 25th. It's a Saturday.
Where's it at?
There's like 700 athletes and school and representatives from every school in the state. So it's pretty cool environment with a lot of athletes, and see all the coaches. There's guys that are just strength coaches. There's the football coaches. There's a big network of coaches there. And I mean, I think I could, if we were interested in, I could talk to like Coach Schrock and Coach Kaga and Coach Jackson, who are the heads of that, and just get Gary or whoever a few minutes to talk if you wanted to as well.
Yeah, Coach Kaga's coming. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yeah, he told me he's coming. Coach Schrock's interested. I know he's extremely busy, but yeah.
Do you guys give away? You giving away an overall winner at that meet?
Oh yeah. So we give away. I mean, there's 11 weight classes starting at 140 and below, and then
is there a big overall winner, pound for pound winner, or something like that?
They do. So we just had our meeting this morning to go over the logistics for the state meet, but they named the overall pound for pound winner from last year at the meeting this morning. So they don't name an overall.
Gotcha.
Winner.
the reason I was asking is, would it be, could we sponsor some award for that? Like, we can't sponsor 85 awards.
Yeah.
And could there be an NHSSCA high school athlete, South Carolina high school athlete of the meet or something like that? Would there be some value that is perceived that we're giving to them? You know what I'm saying? To promote what you guys are doing, so it doesn't look like we're trying to take. Because I think that's why people are fearful of organizations, because they're always trying to take money, take time, take energy. What do they ever give? And one of the big things for us is that we have impact and that we give. And I'm not saying we could, but brainstorm that out a little bit, Micah.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Some things that you might think that you guys need, that we might, as an association, be able to help sponsor and help promote. Because remember, we're a nonprofit, so we want to utilize our funds to something that promotes things, and that could go across any of the states, right? But that might be something specifically that we could do there that might actually be a good olive branch out. Just brainstorming off the top of my head, some things that we might be able to do.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and let's definitely brainstorm. And I mean, we got a couple months, but I think it'd be an awesome time to show what this organization is about, and just be. And there's a wide audience there.
As we go through this in 2018, we're going to be announcing, and you guys need to keep this in mind, we're going to be announcing state coaches of the year. Yeah. So, we're going to have to brainstorm. We have a basic rubric that we've put together, but we want your guys' feedback and have it twisted, because every region's a little bit different than somebody else. So you guys need to make it fit you. But in 2018, at our national conference, wherever we host that, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, the board, John, you'll be voting on this, where the next national will be. So at our national, we'll like to announce where that next national will be. But anyways, at that national, we're gonna announce state strength coaches of the year, the regional strength coach of the year, and then the national high school strength coach of the year, with a very large award. We might have a Hall of Fame inductee. Looking at rings. I'm looking at a jacket with a little patch, inside patch.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're looking at making a big deal and then flying those people in. Not the state winners. Obviously, we can't fly everybody in, right? But the national. We're making a real big deal out of that for next year. So that would kind of go on during that dinner time that we're kind of doing tonight. Would make it a little bit more formal next year. And I think that would be a really fun way to start our kickoff point. So we'd have a keynote speaker, maybe a dinner awards section, and then have two speakers and kind of go from there. So kind of bandying that about. So be considering that as state directors. And then John, I'll get that rubric in your hands, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves about how it needs to be changed to fit the region.
Awesome.
And obviously, I think you need to take yourselves out of it. It would be a really awkward thing. Gary Schofield wins. Yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah, he did this so he could get it. Yeah, that's good. We got to do that because it's about other people. We want to give other people the opportunity to shine. So, be thinking that way too as you come down, Micah, because that could be something that we announce, but we present at that event next year in March.
Yeah.
Because those guys can't come. Right?
That would be. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. So for the state ones, and Toby, the same thing. If we have the state one here, the GACA event, it may be if that's the place. Or I talked to Jay Floyd, and he's now a member, and we're building a good relationship there. Maybe at their event, we give away the state coach of the year award, because those state guys may not be able to come to the national.
Right. Yeah.
Unless you win the national one of the year. So be thinking about how, and that's really a great way to give back rather than take from. So, be thinking that a little bit too.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Sounds good.
And then the other thing you guys need to be thinking about too is dates for next year for the regional, because it won't be a national. So if this date is good and you want this date in the region, in your region next year, talk amongst yourselves, but let's book it as quick as we can to say, okay, we want as the Southeast region, we want to book these dates next year. because we're going to have all next year, 2018, all 8 regions will have a regional. One of those regions, not ours, because we won't do it back to back, will host the national. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a point of things that you guys need to discuss too. Where and when you would like to hold the regional. You know, do you want to hold it in Florida? Do you want to hold it in Charlotte? Do you want to hold it in Nashville? Where do you want to hold it? Do you want to hold it again in Atlanta? Where is it that you want to hold it? And when? And that would be another big piece for you guys to kind of consider.
I vote for the beach.
Well, it looks like we're going to North Broward Prep.
Right.
So anyway, so you guys can consider that. That's completely up to you. All right. So you guys will come forth with that. But that's something to look forward to in 2018.
Cool. Yeah. Well, Coach, when are you looking at maybe having those answers by?
The dates for next year?
Yeah, just ASAP you're thinking?
No,
or you want
no, we're going to give that a little bit of time, right? So we would probably work through that. I would like those dates sometime in the fall, early fall, so we could promote it, right? So August, September, you know, having some of those dates by then, and then that way we could promote it with enough time. But I think we need to work through 2017 first. So, I mean, this is, with great growth comes a lot of stuff we didn't anticipate. Well, one of the questions you might get is membership, T-shirts and certificates. We're working our butts off to get those out. It's just, we didn't anticipate this many members. So it's a little bit more work. We are going to partner with an organization to make this automatic, to where you sign up and you automatically get all that information. And so it speeds up the process. We didn't anticipate the growth this much. So we didn't, obviously when you start something up, we're not going to invest that money. We didn't think we thought it'd be 8 months before we were at this point. So that's great news. So, you know, when people, you know, you'll see some posts and stuff. We don't want them frustrated. So we want them to know what's going on. I think coaches understand. And so that may be a point that you have questions about. Know that we're working through that. If anyone has any questions at all or issues, like, man, I need confirmation for whatever, info@nhssca.us, info@nhssca.us. That's the email that gets direct answers. They generally email me, and then I have to connect it, and it's just it adds to the length of time for response, which we're pretty good. We respond to most emails in the same day, but it gets a faster response through there. So that way you're not in the dust if someone asks you, hey, who do I contact? Bang, here's the email you can do, so you don't feel left out.
Excellent. Yeah, Coach, the reason I asked that was we were just thinking as far as when the next time we could get together. Obviously, we'll get together at the national conference.
Yeah.
But we could kind of set something up for when the next time we could chat. I would like to do something we can just work it off our school schedule. If we can meet together, at least as many of us our state directors as possible, through this same avenue. And now we have a familiarity with how we set it up. Really probably by the end of the school year would be good. And then maybe we can connect again in the summer and then the fall, and then we'll be ready to go. Get together 3 or 4 times. I know a lot of the coaches that are on here now usually participate in some way in the roundtables, and we can connect through that as well. We're active on social media, but I think this is really important for us, just to kind of let some voices be heard. If you know, when this thing really gets rolling, and coaches love what goes on at the national conference, and you're hearing so much from your state, and a lot of coaches in your state are asking so many questions and wanting to know how to connect with various coaches, you can then be their representative, and that's the ultimate goal. Guys, I appreciate so much your time. I'm valuing Coach Jacoby's time, and we got the roundtable coming up here. So I don't mean to kick it off or end it off, but what we're going to do, does anybody have anything else?
Thank you.
That you want to?
Thank you.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. What I'll do is I'll just kick you guys out of here. I don't know if I can quite do that. I think I can. And then it'll be Coach Jacoby, and I'd love for you guys to hang out and hear what Coach Jacoby has to say, because you know he's he's the man, and there's going to be a lot of knowledge shared. So
Absolutely.
Thanks again for your time, guys.
Man, appreciate you
See
putting
you,
this
fellas.
together.
See you, man.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.